Mexico is known for its captivating yet precarious nature, offering a wide expanse of geographical wonders such as stunning beaches, lush forests, and sprawling deserts. Despite its allure as a top tourist destination, it is important for visitors to exercise caution due to the presence of powerful criminal organizations, commonly referred to as cartels, which hold substantial influence over various regions in the country. These groups often wield greater authority than the local law enforcement and military, leading to frequent clashes, resulting in thousands of fatalities each year. It is advised that tourists remain vigilant and adhere to safety guidelines, as disconcerting reports of individuals going missing without a trace have been documented. Additionally, it is noteworthy that several of the world's most perilous cities are situated within Mexico, further highlighting the pervasive influence of these formidable cartels. For a deeper understanding of the origins and perilous nature of these groups, we invite you to join our channel and engage with our content. The Zetas Cartel is one of the criminal groups that was founded in 1999 by some Mexican army officers. This group has more than 10,000 trained forces and is one of the main criminal gangs that causes terror, fear, and bloodshed in Mexico. This group does not have a fixed headquarters or location, making it very difficult to dismantle, and the main members of the group are named with codes such as Z1, Z2, Z3 instead of their real names, according to reports from the US Department of Intelligence. The weapons possessed by the Zetas cartel and other cartels are more advanced than the weapons of the Mexican army, and they even have submarines for the transportation of drugs to the US and Europe. In addition to drug trafficking, which is their main activity, these cartels are involved in many other illegal activities. The Zetas are one of the most violent criminal groups in the world, and the internet is full of videos of this group. However, it is not appropriate to mention them here. But this criminal group uses many methods of execution and beheading to cause terror and fear. The armed members of this gang sometimes impose restrictions on movement in cities and streets of Mexico. If you do not like it, you can disregard these rules. But then, you know what the result of this action will be. A few years ago, in the city of Allende, Mexico, 500 local people were killed for disregarding these regulations, and this incident is also called a Zetas massacre. Cartel Sinaloa. To better understand this cartel, it is better to recognize the leader of this cartel, El Chapo. The United States government introduced El Chapo as the most ruthless, sly, and terrifying person on earth, and Interpol was also pursuing him. In 2001 and 2015, El Chapo managed to escape from 2 high-security prisons in Mexico, and he was captured again in 2016. Before his capture, Sean Penn, a Hollywood actor, had interviewed El Chapo in the jungle. In this interview, he had said that he is the biggest drug supplier in the world, and he conducts this trade through the trucks, airplanes, and submarines he has. El Chapo has caused the death of tens of thousands of people, and those who have been able to meet him say that when they went to his residence, the roadsides were full of the bodies of people he had killed. His aim in placing bodies along the roadsides was to warn newcomers, and this method became known as El Chapo's Way. In 2015, El Chapo threatened Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the leader of the Islamic State, for disrupting the drug trafficking route in Iraq and Syria, and ISIS was forced to reopen the route. It was revealed in court that El Chapo had given a bribe of $100 million to the former president of Mexico. The last time he escaped from prison through a tunnel, they had specially designed a route for him for motorcycle driving, with air ventilation systems and lighting. In the end, he was arrested in 2016, and because there was a possibility that the Mexican government could not keep El Chapo in prison, it was decided that he should be sentenced to life imprisonment and spend his sentence in an American prison. He was also fined $14 billion. When El Chapo went to a place to have a meal, all the entry and exit doors of that place were closed, and they took away all the mobile phones of the people who were in that place. And at the end of the night, El Chapo settled the score to make up for the trouble that had occurred to the people. If you see this lady in Mexico, I recommend that you definitely change your path, because this lady is the mother of El Chapo, despite the fact that El Chapo has been arrested, but the Sinaloa cartel is still powerful. Since these cartels have a large operational range, they have a significant presence in large areas and among various human groups in this country. The police in Mexico collaborate with these mafias, and sometimes they receive billions of dollars in bribes from these groups. Therefore, destroying these groups is not an easy task. These cartels make up 50% of the world's criminal organizations and have infiltrated all over the country of Mexico. There are 7 major cartels in the country of Mexico. In the last presidential election in Mexico, about 130 politicians and thousands of ordinary people were killed. Perhaps due to these pleasant events and unfair explanations of income and the incompetence of the country's leaders, 14 million Mexicans have migrated to the United States. When you get to know the warm and kind-hearted people of Mexico up close, you realize it's not fair for them to suffer such injustice. The incidents in Mexico are not just these. A while ago, a group of 43 left-leaning students who had taken to the streets in protest of the low wages of their professors completely disappeared, although the Mexican government claimed that the cartels had abducted the students. According to the report of an international investigative team, a significant number of police forces were present at the scene to create terror and fear among these students who had protested against the injustices in the country. This issue still remains shrouded in ambiguity, and the core issue remains unknown. There are documents that indicate that the police forces forcibly put these young people on police buses, and the fact that the government took these young people means that during this period, Mexico is still very backward, and even the students of this country do not have personal safety. Of course, everything in this country is not a nightmare, and people do not carry bombs with themselves. Only a few individuals, not even 1/10 of the population of this country, create terrorist problems in this country. The rest of the people are ordinary people and have their own customs, culture, and way of life. If you go there as a traveler, they won't take any money from you. If your path leads to Mexico, you will realize that people in tourist areas are very hospitable. The security of tourist areas is provided by American security forces. The people of Mexico enjoy eating the world's spiciest insects. Seeing people who are fed up with extreme heat and take any opportunity to rest can be interesting for you. In Mexico, you can find surnames that are 10 to 15 words long, as the family name is followed by the sequence of surnames, so it is common to have very long names there. In many places, people receive their monthly salaries twice, on the 1st and 15th of each month, in order to help them cover their monthly expenses. The Aztec culture still exists among the people. Some writers believe that the violence present in Mexico is a result of this Aztec culture. Despite the fact that most people are Catholic, they still adhere to ancient beliefs. The best example of this is the Day of the Dead, on the 1st and 2nd of November, when people gather to honor their deceased by visiting the graves. And some even hire music groups to play the favorite music of the deceased by their graves. These days, some people even paint their faces as skeletons or wear masks. People have become accustomed to seeing these skeletons and masks. The preparations made for the deceased are similar to hosting guests, because on that day, the relatives of the deceased come to their graves and believe that by doing so, they will bring the deceased back to life. The first day of this ceremony, which is held on the 1st of November, is known as the Day of the Little Angels, and the 2nd of November is the Day of All Dead. When traveling to Mexico, make sure to stay close to your tour group and be very cautious, as being careless may result in finding yourself in an unfamiliar place when you open your eyes. Thank you for staying with us until the end of this video. If you like these kinds of videos, be sure to like, share with your friends, and write your comments in the comment section.